Unicorn Circuit.
Welcome to the Unicorn Circuit, your weekly dose of car news, fanking, news from around the world and some conspiracies. We're looking at some weird laws, we're looking at some crap cars, not just our own but also yours. We're going to some cool towns.
We're still here, still doing this show.
We're still doing it.
It's got such a good format.
I thought it's
I get excited.
thoughtful.
I get excited about the various parts of the format because I want to know what's in the random meat bag. I want to know where we're going for mytown, and I want to know what the crap car is. Because I don't know any of these things until right before we shoot it.
There's two big things that are happening in today's show.
Massive.
Okay, really big things. Martin, you tell me the first one.
Oh yeah. What? Too Sexy versus Twisted race. Everyone's already seen that.
No, we're gonna.
Oh, we're talking about the conspiracies of the Too Sexy versus Twisted race.
And the other battle that everyone's been talking about for millennia. Martin, put your left hand up near your face.
Don't hit it.
Like that. That. We're also going to talk about why the Apple Watch is better than that thing.
Oh, no, we're not.
Why not?
Oh, no,
because
not.
let's just go there. Because Martin's got a
There's
what's that called? What's that thing called again?
Garmin thing.
A Garmin thing.
There's so many
We're going to
of
talk
these-
about why the Apple Watch is better than that because everyone else has been doing it and everyone else is wrong. So today on the show, the car show, we're going to talk about some watches. Martin, let's just kick right into the news. This week on the news, Martin, there is lots happening. People have spied the new Porsche 911 Turbo thing. If you've got $4 trillion, you can probably buy one of its wheel nuts.
Volkswagens getting around, new ones, exciting
There's badges
ones.
everywhere you look,
There's news
which is
from
crazy.
Honda, there's news from Nissan, Ford, Holden, everyone.
It's got a little
stuff
car,
going
a little mini thing that we're going to be talking about. But Martin, let's just kick off into your favourite brand, the Volkswagen. Tell us what's going down.
So, firstly, the very exciting news that you were talking about was that the new Golf R is being discounted by $3,000 to a very shockingly low price of...
Drive away will still be over $60,000. Here's my question. Why would you buy one of them when you could have got an Evo back in the day? That's my real honest question.
Or
doesn't
STI.
Doesn't an Evo cost less than a Golf? So why would you buy a Golf? Nicer seats.
See, yeah, well, I suppose. Well, I mean, these days, they're more refined, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah. They're front-wheel drive, little econo boxes.
The Golf GTI is.
So was, we must put the rear-wheel drive in as well. And then they put a little box and a solenoid and oil pump and go, oh, look, it needs to be rear-wheel drive. Does a launch control. Yay! Then blows up. But if you didn't want a Golf R, have you seen the Volkswagen T-Roc?
That's a
Is
Golf.
it T-Roc or Troc?
That's a Golf GTI, but as an SUV thing, right?
No, it's a Golf R SUV.
All-wheel drive turbo.
It's a Golf R, jacked up, big wheels.
Okay.
Golf R.
Does anyone care?
Well, it's faster than a GTI. So if you just bought a GTI, you're going to get chopped by a Troc. I think it's Troc.
Martin, I saw an ad.
Looks futuristic.
I saw an ad. Apparently, the Jimmy Barnes Australian kind of singing royalty, the first train out of Kaysan.
Last train out of Sydney.
Last train out of Kaysan. Last train from Sydney. Anyway, so I saw a thing, a press release that Volkswagen had sent out because he's an ambassador.
Yeah.
And he said, because they said, here's an Amarok, and then in the press release it says, I am a rocker, because he's a rocker.
I'm a rocker. Like Amaranga.
I am a rocker.
If you had red hair, it could have been Amaranga.
Yeah, anyway, I thought that was funny. I don't know if he actually said that.
What does he ambassadise? Does he like...
He drives it. He drives it.
He drives around in an Amarok?
Yes.
And then people see it and go, that's Jimmy Barnes, he's got an Amarok, I'm going to go buy an Amarok.
Yeah.
And put my amps in the back of it. Speaking of Euros, BMW has accidentally flashed a bunch of incorrect software onto their diesel vehicles. Almost 8,000 vehicles have been caught up in the scandal.
Is this a marketing... Did it make the cars better, or is it trying to make them cheat something?
Well, we don't know, because BMW volunteered this information to the regulators and said, hey, we accidentally flashed on the wrong thing. Whoopsies, soz, and they went, cool, here's a €8.5 million fine. Now, that sounds like a lot of money.
No, I don't think it does for a company like that.
Exactly.
$8 million, you can buy a house in probably most cities around the first world for 5 times that amount of money. If you
5
had
times less than that amount of
$40
money.
million.
What? Wait, what?
I don't think $8 million is a lot of money for a huge company to have to pay for a fine.
8.5 million euros. Now, if you do the maths on that, it's, I don't know, $1,000 a car or something like. It's not big dollars. But They did volunteer it, and they said, oopsies, our diesels are on a different tune. Now, this doesn't necessarily, they haven't delved deep enough to go, well, the emissions are higher or whatever, we're trying to do anything sneaky. I think it was like we're going to get on in front of this and go, hey, something happened, let's pay the fine so that we don't end up like VW with thousands of tens and thousands of cars rotting in the desert.
What I was trying to say about this, Marty, is that 8.5 million euros for a worldwide recognised, I guess, successful company. There are individuals that spend more than that just buying a house.
Or buying
Do you know what I mean?
an artwork
or buying, whatever.
Totally,
It's like that's the thing. So, but it depends what the outcome was and why they did that.
Yeah.
Europe, interesting news, they're considering doing a black box in cars. So kind of like what they have in planes, so that when there's an accident or something going on, they can actually log what has been going on. Now, I reckon in some ways you go, that's a good idea, particularly if it can help you investigate accidents, see what went on, make technology better, things like that. But on the other side, I don't think people are going to feel like they like being logged all the time. Proof of that is if you look at dashcam videos, a lot of people, they choose the option to take off the information about sometimes where they are, their kilometres an hour, stuff like that, because they don't want that stuff being recorded.
Yep.
Not necessarily saying that they're going to be breaking the law or speeding, but they don't want there to be a record of what they're doing all the time. And I think unless it's kind of passed by law, it's going to be a hard thing to convince the general public that you're going to be monitored everywhere you go.
Well, yeah, Haltech can do it. I mean, you can set it to automatically log the last minute. And a lot of the time, when people go to racetracks and blow engines, not that I've ever done that, you can also just, the first question that someone will ask you, a tuner will ask you is, oh, do you have the log?
The
so
log,
I can look
which
and
we've
see
done,
what happened.
we've checked.
Which we've done, wide open throttle and then zero oil pressure and all that kind of stuff. So it's the same, but I imagine they also log dynamics, which direction we're going, how fast we're going.
G-forces. Yeah, stuff
Wouldn't
like
be that hard to do. Speaking of G-forces, Honda have created a Honda passport. Why is that a big deal? I don't know. It's not really, except I've never seen one in Australia and don't think we ever will.
A travelling passport?
It's an SUV called a passport because it unlocks destinations or something. Anyway,
well done, advertising agency.
3.5.
I mean, it's better than calling it a Qashqai, I guess.
I still can't understand the Qashqai. Someone will know. Anyway, 3.5 litre V6 seems reasonable. I think that's the same motor they put in some of their bigger Accords or something like that. All-wheel drive and has torque vectoring for less slippage in the wet.
Well done. Everyone's
nothing worse than slippage in the wet.
Everybody, your car's too big. Everyone's car's too big. Everyone's car is too big.
In Australia and America.
We've been to Europe. We've been to Asia. People are riding bicycles. They're riding motorbikes. I mean, in Sydney, if you ride a motorbike or a bike, you're going to get run over by some angry guy. There's a lot of rage against people riding bikes and stuff.
What is it? Temporary Australian street pizza.
And they're like, because people on bikes, they're like, they don't pay their taxes. They actually do because they work jobs usually.
Oh, you can't stop this one, dude. Don't go there.
And
you're going to go there.
Usually bike riders have got cut. Now, I don't ride my bike on the road because I don't know the death wish, but what I'm saying is quite often the people riding bikes, they also have cars and they're paying the thing. So saying that they don't pay, that's like saying that a kid's not allowed to pay on a swing because that kid hasn't paid any tax. That's ridiculous.
Someone's tax paid for the swing.
Our cars are too big. And by too big, I don't mean they're too big for purpose. I mean they're too big. If you have a look around next time you're stuck in a traffic jam, have a look around. There's one person in each of these cars. Overseas, they seem to be doing things smaller. Japan, K cars, great, 660cc, awesome little cars, little vans, little trucks, awesome people, love the place. Now, Seat have made a little thing called a Minimo. It's a tandem, two-seater, electric, 100 kilometre range. It's small, 2.5 metres long, 1.2 metres wide. It's a tiny little thing that converges motorbike and car into one. Safety standards, I'm not aware yet, but in terms of just getting around your local area, it sounds like a really good way to do it. Because the problem we often talk about what's more dangerous, riding a motorbike or a push bike. Now everyone goes, motorbike's worse. What I'd say is good about a motorbike is that you sit in your lane and no one's going to get around you. You've got indicators, you've got decent brakes, you've got some performance, unless you're on a Postal or on a scooter or something. Slow. But people at least go, cool, you've got a buffer around you. The moment you're on a push bike, even if you're going fast, we've seen people going 55, 60 k's an hour in a 50 zone, just nagging down a hill. Cars are still trying to get past them because they're like, it's a bike.
Because there's no,
and they don't want to get stuck.
There's no number plate.
It's
they don't want to
dangerous.
get stuck when you've got to accelerate.
In Australia now, they've made it a law that you've got to have a certain, a metre or something.
1.5 metre buffer.
1.5 is it?
Yeah.
Which means that if you can't get around it, you've got to slow down. Now, maybe that's problematic in its own way. Look, I'm not a fan of, people who are riding bikes and going, we should all appreciate the road rules. Then they just ride through red lights, they plough into pedestrians. That's crazy as well. But there's got to just be a little bit of respect for each other as humans.
Well said.
And maybe you'll do it with this little new vehicle.
Speaking of humans respecting each other, the different warriors of the world are trying to respect each other and they're failing.
Even though one's got an Apple Watch and the other's got
Which
the Fitbit.
We're going to get to later. But for now, I want to talk about Holden. So Holden is sending...
I remember them.
Yeah. They stopped making cars here 2 years ago, by the way.
Wow.
2 full years. They're sending representatives, wait for this, representatives into online communities to take on the keyboard warriors using brand warriors. And they're trying to change people's mind about the Commodore and Holden.
So does that mean
This is
like
from
if
the head
someone
of
gets on
marketing
like a
group.
Mighty Car Mods forum and like goes, oh, I don't like the new Holden because of ABC, then a brand warrior, which is a pretty cool name, that sounds like something the government would come up to try and convince kids to put their recycling in the right bin.
The marketing department
The brand
came up with
warrior will get on there and explain why the car's good.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's fine if the brand warrior has driven the car, has experience with it, whatever, can be honest. Ford gives us a Ranger. They lend us one. And if someone says to you, what do you like about it? I'd go ABC. If someone says, what do you not like about it? I'd go, you know, maybe it's a bit loud compared to an Amacock. Maybe it's a bit this compared to that. But overall, these are the things that are good. But that's because we drive it, not because they're giving us some money and like going, make sure you tell people ABC on your forum. Like, that's murky, man.
What's interesting about this is I've seen it with my own eyes, and we've spoken about this before. Any like social media post you see from Holden generally has a lot of people jumping on board who are pissed off because they're beloved Commodores. You know, they had a VN Commodore since the day they turned 16, and they've always been Commodore drivers. And all of a sudden, Commodore's made in France or wherever else it's made, and it's actually an Opel Insignia. And all this
I
kind of
drove one recently. I think I told you it's a hatchback thing now, and I pulled into this caravan park, and everyone just crowded around it. They all swarmed, and what was really interesting, they go, "Is that the new Commodore?" They were so excited. They all came up, and the moment they had a look, they went, "Oh." They were just disappointed.
It's just different, and that's the thing. So obviously they consider there to be some brand damage to the brand, and there's even talk about Holden pulling the Commodore or even pulling out of Australia entirely, which is pretty full on because it's going to live or die based on the sales. Now, they still say that in that particular market segment, the Commodore sells well, and you go, okay, well, what else is there in that market segment? I mean, because Ford aren't making anything in Australia the same, there's no Falcon anymore either. You know, maybe Kia's making some sort of big sedan things, but as we know, sedans like that are going down in sales all over the world anyway, because everyone's buying SUVs like that. T-Roc, Troc, that's what people are buying now because they can put their kayak on the top, the kids' pram in the back, cruise around in four-wheel drive, do launch control, and impress all their mates with their Euro car.
That and bigger cars, because as we've spoken about before, Volkswagen and Ford are in cahoots to make the Emiranger. They're making something that's like the best of both.
Buy a Falcon Ute or a Commodore Ute anymore, which was sort of like very unique in Australia. Now you are buying Rangers, Amacocks, you know, whatever else, Colorados, I suppose.
Yeah.
But anyway, the idea that a brand is sending people onto social media to try and turn the tide of negative commentary, and
I reckon that's going to blow up in their faces, man.
Generate more positive conversation. Like, you know, the whole "don't feed the trolls" argument.
Yeah.
It kind of rings true here, and it's interesting to see like the head of a company or a marketing manager, whatever it is, make comments like that about the online community is pretty unusual, and I'm surprised that it hasn't blown up even more than it has.
I mean, what it shows particularly is maybe they don't quite understand what's going on in the online space to think that that is going to work. I mean, maybe on like more mums and dads forums, like maybe Whirlpools or Reddits or something, maybe we'll do something. But on hardcore like car forums, when people get on there, if they like something, they don't like something, it's very hard to change someone's mind on the internet. It's often a futile.
I mean, I read the Holden post just for the entertainment value.
Yeah,
because like people just so
people
cranky and so like funny as well about the fact that like you should make a Commodore. It's like the same Commodore's not coming back, guys.
Yeah,
it's gone. Like you're gonna have to move on. But also the brand trying to get in there and going, but the new one's front-wheel drive, and that gives more stability when you like people that's like, they don't want to know about
the skids.
They want to do skids at a racetrack.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's been quite a serious news. I'll finish. The last one, which is interesting, is that in Australia that we have a lot of taxes, obviously, and that's because it's a wonderful country here. I would say one of the best countries in the world. I love it. Very proud to be Australian. But our politicians are a joke, aren't they? Like let's not go.
Couldn't you apply that to most countries, though?
But well, you know, let's be careful what we say.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are really angry about how much tax we have to pay. But then there's certain benefits associated with those taxes. But we have a thing called luxury car tax. Then we have GST as well.
Yeah.
New South Wales Labor is proposing to add another 7% to luxury cars. I mean, it is for expensive cars, but if you've got a $100,000 car, you've got 33% luxury car tax. You've got 10% goods and services tax, and now they're like, let's add another 7% to it. By these maths, we're talking about 50%, Martin. I don't know if the maths actually work that way or if it's graded in a way that you're hitting a threshold.
It is graded.
33 and 7 and 10 is 50%. Now, it's not of the full car value because there's certain thresholds you have to meet. We're talking crazy amounts of tax, man. Crazy.
Do you know, here's a surprising statistic for you that I read. Do you know who pays what car brand owners pay the most luxury car tax of anyone in the whole country?
Ferrari?
Toyota.
Why?
Toyota. You buy a 200 series Land Cruiser, they're like $100,000.
Yeah,
that's what
right.
people take caravans with. So
and there's more of those than there's going to be
There's
Lambos.
more of them. If you get like a Kluger or something, I mean, if you spec that out,
a full-on spec
I think
out
the
one.
number's 57 or 67 grand, around that. Anyway, if you spec out a Kluger with like a big engine and the nice leather interior, bang, luxury car tax. Funnily enough, the next biggest in line is Mercedes, and you would think that that would be way more people, but the way they get around it, although I think it's probably a good thing, is that if the emissions is the fuel economy is under 7 litres per 100,
they get a kickback.
you get an exemption or it pulls it back down the grade. So if you buy an Audi, like Q5 or Q7 or something, and it's diesel, it's probably very fuel efficient.
Yeah.
You're not paying.
And if it's not, when you plug it in, the ECU will tell you it is anyway.
And you would go, well, Toyota, how come Toyota, why aren't you doing anything about that? And it's like, well, these are petrol cars, or these are like Land Cruisers designed to pull 4.5 ton caravans across Australia. We can't make them 7 litres per 100.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
It's
exactly. Maybe you fudge the numbers with a reflash, but anyway.
Yes. Anyway, there it is. That is the news. Next up, we normally kick into Is That Even Legal? And we will. But don't forget, we're going to be doing the Apple and Fitbit comparison. Is yours called a Fitbit?
Not a Fitbit, but I have had a Fitbit.
I will call it a Fitbit. Anyway, next up, though, Is That Even Legal? This week on Is That Even Legal? Martin, do you like photography?
Yeah.
Do you like girls?
Yeah.
Illegal.
I was wondering where this is going.
You can't do it, Martin.
What do you mean?
Here's I was in South Korea last year doing some work over there, and here's what I found out, Martin. I've been doing some reading about street photography, some awesome like French street photography or observational photography from the 1920s, 1930s. Very cool. But I started having a look at some of the laws around photography around the world, like what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do in public, because street photography or observational documenting photography you're often doing in public. Now, what I found was quite interesting is in South Korea, taking pictures of women without their consent, including in public, is considered to be an assault, a sexual assault. It's punishable by a fine of, it says under 10 million won. I don't know what that equals in our currency, but what I do know is that up to 5 years imprisonment means 5 years jail. But then there's an amendment to that, according to Wikipedia, and in July 2017, they amended that law, and it was voted on in favour of allowing for chemical castration of people who take those photographs. Now, I don't know what chemical castration is, but I'm assuming you take some chemicals and your dick falls off or something. I don't know. I don't want to know. Don't even tell me in the comments. Is that even legal? Don't say a word. Let's just move straight on to mycrapcar.
In this week's amazing episode of My Crap Car, we have Daniel, and Daniel has a 1997 Nissan Racine. Now, big shout out to Daniel because he sent us a bunch of stuff the other day. Remember the CD that I couldn't work out how to make work?
Yes.
I found a CD thing, DVD thing. We got it to work. What's cool is Daniel has a page called Wasabi Cars, and he goes around Japan, lives in Japan, and goes around and just train spots all these really weird, old, random cars. So check it out.
And what's interesting is he lives in Japan but really likes Australian cars.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are Australian and go over there really like Japanese cars, but he obviously likes both.
Check it
weird
out.
Stuff.
Nissan Racine. Check it.
G'day Marty and Moog, my name is Daniel O'Grady and this is my submission for My Crappy Car. Actually it's the wife's Nissan Racine, but more on that in just a sec. I'd also like to do a bit of my town, and my town is Tosu. It's in Saga Prefecture. It's an interesting old place. It's not the most exciting, but interesting in that it serves as a transportation hub of Kyushu, which sounds fascinating. Also there's USS Auctions somewhere over there. Also there are some yards that sort of scrap some cars, and you can see that over there. And actually this is what I like to do in my free time. I like to go car spotting. I have a particular interest in Australian cars, so like the Mazda Road Pacer, which there could be one just down the road over there. Also the Isuzu Statesman DeVille, even the Chryslers, the JDM ones. I'm a bit of a fan of those, but I do go car spotting and I spot whatever I can. Nothing amazingly interesting right here. Wow, nice Cedric. That's a bit of a shame. March over there. Oh, speaking of March, the Cube, 2nd gen, I have seen a junked Super Turbo. I hope that doesn't make you too sad. Anyways, car spotting is my thing, but let's get back to my crappy car. Now that is a one-owner car. My wife has had that since, well, Heisei 9. I wonder what year that could be. And I'll get across the road and we'll talk all about it. Well, I've picked a hell of a spot to park it. Very odd. Anyway, the chassis code of this one is B14, so it does share a platform with the Nissan Sunny, B14 Sunny. I don't know what that car looks like actually, it's a bit too new for my interests. Check out the front of it. I do like the styling now. I've got to say, back when I was first seeing it, it was just a bit too odd. And here we are under the bonnet. Dual overhead cam. It's a 1.5 litre. Let's check it out. GA15DE, 1497 cc's, and you know, it's not terribly exciting under here. But there was a version of this car, the Racine, that had the SR engine, but no, not this one. Yeah, so that just happened. Anyway, what do you think of the styling? It's yeah, beige on the outside too, isn't it? Sort of mini four-wheel drive sort of thing going on. It is an all-wheel drive actually. It's got that Atessa system in it. It's no GTR, but yeah, the performance isn't so great. But let's check out inside now. There's no baby, not for a few years actually. Actually, the back. Yeah, it's just copped a bit of weather. That is frail and brittle. Racine, some poetry or something, I don't know what's going on there, but there it is. Oh, I forgot about this. This wasn't me, but yeah, my wife parked a bit too close to something. I gotta hit that out and treat that. Thanks for the reminder. Oh yeah, and the tailgate appears a bit rusty too. Yeah, this has got a bit of give in it. Wow, sometimes it's touch and go whether you can get in this car. Let's start her up. Hey, there we go. Now let's go somewhere. Okay, we're just down the road a bit and I found this garage here. Now I've dropped by this place once before. What he does is he modifies K-car suspension components so you can fit wider wheels on them, but he's got this car here which looks pretty interesting. I think this was done at a workshop somewhere that I go past every day. But there's a few interesting cars. Hello. Some sort of Daihatsu, mate. There we go. Lifted van. We'll get to the front of that actually. What's this one? Here we go. So he does that sort of stuff. So this road is Sangosen, Route 3. Sort of where I live. Very near here. Oh, it's a Volkswagen. Holy doly. Look at that, eh? That is nuts. And then this Daihatsu. Well, there you go. That's a bit of a tour. This is what I like to do. I like to find car stuff. Yeah, well, that's pretty much me done. I just want to say thanks for your videos and all the best in 2019. And goodbye.
There it is. Pretty cool.
We'd love to see your crap car, wouldn't we, Martin?
Thank you. We'd love to see your crap car. You can send
Daniel,
your crap car to mycrapcar@theunicorncircuit.com. Next up, we have one of my favourites, tinfoil hat cat crap.
This week on Conspiracy Hat Cat, we're talking watches, people. We're talking the Apple Watch versus the Fitbit.
Are we actually? I had another conspiracy, but let's do this one first.
Okay, let's just do this one.
Yep,
I'm
go.
going to tell everybody just once which one's better and why.
Does anyone care?
Of course they do. Have you seen YouTube, man? That's all anyone talks about. Which watch is better? Okay?
Yeah.
Here's my 10 words on the matter. If you own an Android phone, make sure you... Is that all I get?
I'll give you more go.
Okay, no, that's it. You have your 10 words then. Quick, let's go. Conspiracy Hat Cat, hungry.
Apple Watch looks stupid. Works great, looks stupid, really stupid.
If you're part of the Apple world, you buy an Apple Watch. If you're not, you don't.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Anything to add to that?
You can get an app that makes it work. Apple.
Okay. But the app is clunky and doesn't integrate well much.
I use it and it's really, 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 really fine.
People who don't have Apple Watches feel that they're superior.
I don't want my wrist to ring all the time.
But would you like to wrist your ring? All right, no, let's just move on. Let's move on. If you're in the Apple world, here's the thing, because people are like on the comments going, "You've got the Apple thing, you've got the whatever."
People in the comments going, "I don't care."
No, but on the comments of the thing people was arguing about, because I had a look, I wanted to get that, and I was like, "That's big. That looks all commando and cool." But then to get music on it, it's too hard from your Apple world. But some people are not on the Apple world. We know because when we sell music, they're like, "Don't want Apple. I want the other thing." So if you don't want the Apple world, you can do one of them. But if you're in the Apple world, that does make things easier.
I don't want my
and
wrist
more
to ring.
streamlined.
I don't need it to play music. That's cool if it does. I just want to know what the time is. I want to know how active I was to make sure I move enough, because otherwise you get all like weird and tired and shit. And and you can go for a bike ride or a walk or a run or something and go, "Oh, that was cool. I went 5Ks." Or "How fast am I going on my bike?" My bike doesn't have a speedo. Now it does.
Your
Cool
car
stuff
doesn't have a
like
speedo.
that.
The two things that he doesn't want his wrist to ring, and what was the other thing? Doesn't want music.
Yeah.
He was saying.
The
Are the
third
two
thing is I don't
that-
want to be tracked all the time like those things track you.
are the two best things about the Apple Watch. My productivity, you leave your phone over there, and instead of doing your face balls and all those other things ring. "Hi Mum, yep, I'll come and visit. Bye. Yep, hi, bing bing. Oh, I don't want to look at that." And you're not like getting on your phone.
But it's still binging you.
Then you can leave your phone at home, just take some Bluetooth headphones, and you're all free willy.
One thing we can agree on, being free willy is awesome. And using technology to free your willy. Wait, where's this going?
I don't know. Let's just run the last bit of the graphics again so we can reset. There it is, this week on Conspiracy Hat Cat. Martin, what are we talking about?
We drive on the left-hand side of the road because of one of the Roman emperors called Augustus, and he was left-handed, so he wanted to be able to chop people who passed him on the right with his dominant hand, and also spiral staircases.
No, that doesn't work.
Spiral staircases.
No, let's go back to the first one. He's driving on the left.
Yep.
You mean the left side of the road or the left side of the car?
Car.
So you're saying he wants to chop people, overtake them, with a sword or something?
Yeah.
But then if he's better off with his right hand.
This is the
Didn't you say he was
conspiracy.
left-handed?
But this is the conspiracy. The conspiracy is he wasn't actually left-handed, he was right-handed, but he wanted everyone else to be at a disadvantage, so he put it on the side of the road that suited him, and then he chopped everyone in a horse and thingy when he went past.
I think there's something accurate in that. It's why castles, stairs, have the wall on the left-hand side, so that if you need to defend your castle, you're coming down the stairs, you come down and go chop, chop, chop.
This
And the
person's
people
like,
coming up the other side are all ding, king, king, king. So I think there's something in that.
Next up on this very strange show is Fank of the Week.
Fanking is the delightful art of creatively changing the name of a product by taking a photo of it down near your crotch. This is the quickest show ever. Let's just bang right into it. Boomsticks. Here we go. There we go. Balls.
Bonus points
up.
just for straight up balls.
Well done. In fact, it's balls in gravy.
Even better.
There you go.
Teabagging those balls.
Well done.
In the gravy
Next
sauce.
up, that's the Big D, nut butter. Now, we've had Big D before, but they haven't fingered the nut.
But we've had nut butter and Big D. Now we've got
No
Big
one's
D
combined
nut
them
butter.
both, so well done. And that looks delicious. Do you want to try some Big D?
Yeah.
I'd like to try some.
I'd put some in my mouth for sure.
Unicorn Circuit, PO Box 475, Sydney Markets 2129.
2129.
Can someone send us some Big D? We'll
Big
eat it
D.
on the show.
Thanks.
We'll give you a shout out. Thank you very much. Martin, here's the brilliant route. Well done. Good job. It is what it is. A man olive.
Man olive.
Now, I put that on there just because we haven't seen that before. Now, what is the first word? What is a man olive? What did it used to say? It's not mango. Is it
Oh, I love this game.
What is it?
It's
They'll tell us in the comments
Someone's
because I
gonna tell
actually
us.
can't work that out.
Can't
What
either.
does it mean? What is the man olive? Martin, this
Rachel's
is
organic.
Rachel's organic, free, slightly salted butt. That's like a whole sentence.
But isn't something, when it's slightly salted, it's better than salted, don't you reckon?
Yes.
If you get a slightly salted chip,
Yeah.
I know you're hungry, so you're thinking about it.
Here's what I did the other day. I went to the supermarket and I saw they've got like the kettle chip.
Yeah.
And then there's another chip called a Tyrrell's chip. They're also a kettle chip.
They're
I'm
good.
assuming that means they
They're
cook
from
them
the
in
UK,
a
I
kettle
think.
or something. Anyway, I had a look on the back. The fat contents and salt contents and stuff are vastly different between two chips that are both like sea salt. It was like the Tyrrell's was like a third of the salt.
Really?
For anyone watching this
Probably
sodium
cooked in
intake.
different oil or something.
There you go, Martin. What have we got here? We've got just fancier squeeze. That's what it says.
Yeah. I like the reverse fank angle.
That's I can't quite work out what's going on
Stranger
there.
Fank.
Every season, Dick. There you go. Get on it, nice and green. There you go.
Very good.
Martin, this here is the gentleman's relish. Now we've seen that before.
Parton.
Now that says delicious on hot toast. Could someone please send us some gentleman's relish? Unicorn Circuit, PO Box 475.
We're gonna have so much
unicorncircuit.com.
food stuff. I'm not
or
sure
whatever
it's a
the
good
address
idea.
is. No, just those two.
Okay.
We'll get some Nan's nut butter and some gentleman's relish, and we'll eat them on the show.
Not together.
We need a toaster. Martin, that's the ball blower. Have you ever played with that
We
game?
played with one of them.
Yeah.
Here, remember?
Yeah, that was awesome. There it is, deep and delicious.
Yep.
Now-
I completely agree with that, and I would wrap my laughing chops around it all day long.
I wouldn't eat it. It just looks. I don't endorse that. Just looks blur. Look at that, Martin. Just stiff, straight up, fantastic. Look at these two. They're pretty
Loving
pretty
it.
stoked
That looks
about what's
old
going
school.
on. Yeah,
It's
really
really
old school,
old.
isn't it? Smelly balls, Martin. And it
Smells
says-
so fruity. How is this not Fank of the Week?
It's really good,
Fank of
isn't
the
it?
Week must be pretty good.
Well,
Because this is
okay.
one of my favourites in a while. It's
that
literally
probably-
called
that-
Smelly Balls.
that
They smell so
probably-
fruity.
it Probably should have been. Sorry, but anyway, moving on.
Fatwood. Know that feeling.
Well done. What?
Oh,
WD-40, penetrant.
specialist
And of course,
fast release.
sponsors of Mighty Car Mods, but we didn't know that. The other show that we make, it's pretty good. No one sponsors this one, do they?
No. Oh, I know. But remember how we called out to a few people and said, like, you should sponsor us for some stuff and we'll give the money to charity? Did we
Yes.
say that?
Did we actually
We're
do
gonna
that?
do that. Some, one person of the how many tens of thousands of people that watch, one person said, I want to sponsor something. I haven't seen any more
Really?
yet, but I reckon
we should work
do
that
it.
out. I reckon it would take a little bit of paperwork, but I reckon we should like auction off a sponsorship each week.
Yeah.
And if it's $2
Yeah.
and it goes, we're coming at you from Peter's Pizza Joint in Ohio. Go down and get some pizza, and they get 30 seconds, and we say what they need us to say.
That sounds good.
But people might send weird stuff.
Well, we just don't do the weird stuff.
Or we just put a disclaimer. It's like they made us say this. Remember PewDiePie did this and he got in trouble?
Yeah, probably.
Heard of that guy? Felt flaps
And a mirror, just in case
That's
you need it.
second Fank of the week,
That's pretty good.
because that's pretty good. And now the main Fank of the week. Just a big cock. There it is. There
So
it is.
versatile.
I mean, it's just, it says what it is. There it is. Everybody, you can send us your Fanking photos at the Fanking Facebook page, which is facebook.com/yourballs. Next up, we have got, what does it say down there?
It's my town. Next up on the Unicorn
Braunfels.
Circuit, we're going to Braunfels.
Braunfels.
Jamie's taking us there. This is my town where you show us your town. It's freaking awesome. Check this out.
Hello, Unicorn Circuit. This is my town, New Braunfels, Texas.
The city of New Braunfels was established in 1845 by the German prince Karl of Solms-Braunfels, largely in part due to the abundant availability of fresh water from the nearby natural springs and rivers. If you visit downtown New Braunfels, you'll find many local businesses, such as Naeglin's Bakery, the oldest continuing operating baker in Texas, which opened in 1868. The town's main plaza is surrounded by a rare roundabout. The city is also preparing for its yearly Wasselfest celebration, which fills the downtown streets with holiday cheer. Celebrating the city's German heritage, Wurstfest is a festival held every November featuring German sausages and beverages, carnival attractions, musical performances, and much more. On nearby River Road, which follows the Guadalupe River, you'll find many taking advantage of the scenic views, including motorcyclists, bicyclists, and pedestrians. It also provides a relaxing drive for those that like to slow down and enjoy the view from the road itself and the many bridges that cross the river along its path. Additionally, in the warmer months, the river is a popular destination for tubing, which is a relaxing way to beat the Texas heat. And always keep a lookout for the wildlife, which always does its part in ensuring drivers maintain a safe speed. Another popular tubing destination is the Comal River, the shortest navigatable river in the state of Texas. It also features a slide, which allows tubers to slide right onto the river. You'll always find an empty fuel pump at Buc-ee's, a Texas interstate tradition, proving once again everything's bigger in Texas. Like you'll find in most fuel stations, Buc-ee's is stocked with snacks, drinks, and even prepared food. But if you're not hungry, you can find a large selection of household items full of Texas flair. There's also a full line of popular apparel with a place to try them on. And of course, no Texas store would be complete without a hunting stuff department. Although now part of New Braunfels, Green, a popular tourist destination, is a former town founded by German immigrant Ernst Green in the late 1800s. Many original buildings built by the Green family have been restored, including the original mercantile store, the Green family home, which is now operating as the Green Mansion Inn, and Green Hall, one of the oldest dance halls in Texas. Other original buildings, such as the Cotton Gin, have been converted into popular restaurants such as the Grist Mill. I hope you enjoyed this tour of New Braunfels, Texas. Unicorn Circuit, meet Unicorn Country.
Thank you very much for taking us
man.
to Unicorn
Texas.
County.
That was well
Country.
shot. That was very well shot. It was easy on the eyes. It was nice and stable, and you could see stuff, and a lot of effort went into it.
And you can send us a video of your town with your phone that way, not that way, without music on it, and try and stop the wind noise, and send it to the town at the unicorntown.town, or whatever it says here will actually get to us. Martin, is that it? Oh, it's time for Mailbag.
Next up, it's time for Mailbag.
All right, where's the knife? Each week on Mailbag, we open the stuff that you put our email address on some send-out thing for a company, so they send us nappies and weird stuff. But sometimes you send us cool stuff, like this knife that was sent to us by a Mighty Come On's fan that was actually made out of old skateboard bits.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
don't
scary.
do that. That's
No,
dangerous,
really
man. That could have chopped your finger off, dude. All right, I will open
Really good.
this.
I will sharpen this, don't worry.
Now, inside here, Martin, there is a unicorn bag and a letter from one of you lovely people. And I'll read the letter. Dear Marty and Moog, thought you might like some quokka snacks from Western Australia.
Yes, I would.
And a unicorn splat ball for fun. Love your show, appreciate all the advice you share. Thank you. My first car was a Toyota Starlet.
That's mad.
Which had a few mods, and I even took it to a few track days at Barbagallo and some fun at Motorcana. Barbagallo's where we went, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where the
Mad
Mighty
track.
Come On's meet was. Sadly, she was rear-ended at the traffic lights by a 92-year-old man in a Commodore. Needless to say,
That
she
sucks.
was written off.
Oh well.
My latest project is my 2000 MX-5. That looks great.
That's
Look at
mad.
those wheels. That
Yep.
looks fantastic.
Well played.
I'm considering buying my grandmother's 1991 Nissan Pintara, which she has been the only owner of, and it's only done 140,000 Ks. Have a great 2019, guys, and I hope you bring your roadshow to Perth
I'd love
again.
to go
We will
back to
get there
Perth.
at some stage. Thank you very much, and thank you for sending over the quokka snacks with noodles
Gonna
and
try one of those.
some unicorn splat ball. Hey, is that the unicorn that... It's a splatter unicorn? And over here, I know it's not the right time for
No,
it,
we
Mum,
need to do it.
but
This, I have a feeling. I've just spied something in here. I have a feeling this is
Quokka
going to be
snack.
one of the best mailbag things we've had.
Oh, what's that?
It's going to be up there with one of the best. Are they good? Oh my god, they're amazing.
that's amazing. Thank you.
Oh, so flavoursome.
Thank you. Packed in Western Australia, home of the quokka.
Oh,
I don't often yell out the brand,
they're
but
so good. Oh, they're hot.
these
Whoa.
are from Olympic Fine Foods.
Hi there, Marty and Moog. I've been a long time MCM fan and got my wife into the unicorn circuit in the past 12 months. Awesome. It's now our Wednesday night dinner viewing, except when it's not. Dude, except when it's not. Come on. And we laugh along with Fanking, her favourite, mycrapcar, my favourite, and of course, Conspiracy Hat Cat. My wife is an avid cross-stitcher and has started her own Etsy store, Wild Duck
She's a
Creations.
crossfitter.
She's also spent around 30 hours putting this framed commemorative cross-stitch together for you guys.
Oh, cross-stitch.
Yeah. I hope it will commemorate the epic Twisted vs. Too Sexy battle and that it brings at least one of you happy memories. This is freaking awesome and it's gone on the wall downstairs.
Right, a cross-stitch.
Shameless plugs, Wild Duck Creation, Instagram to see more. Nick Zach is my Insta and I have a YouTube channel, only 60 subs but working on it. And that's Nick_Zach. We love both of you, wish all the best look forward to the Evo conclusion, which means you would have already just seen the Evo conclusion and there's a bit more conclusion coming. Check this out. It's even got the Street Fighter versus, dude.
Whoa! That is
That's awesome,
incredible.
That's so good.
Look at that. Wild Duck Creations, www.wildduckcreations.etsy.com. That
It's epic.
is absolutely epic.
Thank you for taking the time.
Can
to
we
do it.
make that our thumbnail today?
I think we should.
Because they've deserved it. So
That's
let's
so
do a thumbnail picture. And
How good is
that's
it?
incredible.
That's mad. I'm going to find a spot for that.
I'm going to
somewhere
find a
downstairs.
spot for that.
No, I want it.
I'm going to find a
But I
rock,
want it.
paper, scissors.
Scissors, paper, rock.
3.
You never win.
Thank you. I tell you
Dude, where
that
are
I
the
do.
pocket
I
snacks?
tell you that I do scissors every time.
Chopped every
And
time.
I tell you I always do
But
that.
I thought I'd do paper because you always do that.
Thank you so much. I'll share it with you, Martin. One off, one on, day off at that
Cool.
thing.
Other little
Something.
bits and pieces in there.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for that.
Appreciate
I think
the
that
time
is-
and effort that you put in. That's really
that's
cool.
the show for this week.
These are.
Oh, Martin, we never talked about the conspiracy. We've never got to Too Sexy and Twisted.
Yeah, no.
Should we do it next week?
We need a word as well,
I
and
know.
we still need random meat bags. We're not finished. Come on,
I
we
know,
need to
but-
pump
okay,
through. Where are the
all right.
pocket snacks?
Thank you, everybody. And now we're at Random Meat Bag. All right, this is the part of the show
Random
where
meat
we
bag.
eat things. Martin, here's the nut mix. Do you want to try the quackers?
The quackers.
Martin, we didn't actually get to talk about the conspiracies about Too Sexy
Should we
and
do
Twisted.
that while
no,
we-
because that's too long
We should
now.
do
It's
while
too
we
short.
do this.
Should we? Maybe that needs its own special episode, the Twisted vs Too Sexy special conspiracy episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
And
cool.
let's answer all the stuff in one big go, and then people that just
Right.
want to know about that can do it, and we'll do it with this like hanging behind us.
That I'll just put that there right now.
We need
There
to
we
do
go.
a special thing.
All
we
right.
need to get all of this. Okay, anyway, I digress. This,
Japanese carrot
I
snack.
actually looked it up. I know it's like a surprise for you, but I looked this up. These are Japanese carrot snacks, Rice Krispie snacks. Apparently very popular in Japan, and I don't know if they're carrot flavour, but they look like a carrot, so you would assume that they are, but I don't know if they actually... They just look like...
Oh,
rice.
what? It's white.
Oh, they're
Thank
good,
you.
man.
Thank you.
They taste like a bit like
Oh,
a sweet
it tastes
breakfast
like
cereal.
rice bubbles, but with a bit of carrot and a bit of salt.
Weird. But they also, this is in here as well. These are chili beans, also from Japan, from what I can tell.
Someone asked us why we make
on.
this show, Martin.
Open. It won't open.
Yeah, you see, while you're being all like brutal with it, the gentleman just uses his teeth.
I don't think it's gentlemanly.
Someone asked us why we make this show, Martin, and I said because we want to. They sell these in Australia. The Australian ones are better.
You reckon? I reckon they're good.
I think that's meant to look like a pea, but it's just made by reconstituted pea.
This is the weird thing though, isn't it? Like, why wouldn't you just eat a pea?
Because it's not in a packet, mate.
Oh, that doesn't taste very good.
That's the show for another week. What's your favourite segment? What's your... Actually, I don't care what
No.
your least favourite segment is.
We need a word. If you've made it to the end, the word is
Quokka,
quokka.
which is spelt...
Quokka, but we're going to substitute one of the K's for a Q, so it's quokka.
Oh, and everyone who puts that in the comment, we'll have a look through, Martin, and we'll go see that username there. That person's
Thumbs up.
a ledge.
Thumbs
We
up.
can't thumbs up them all. It's going to take too long.
I reckon we could, because there's only 5 people watching.
We'll thumb it up in our minds. There it is.
Does
That's
anyone
the
listen
show.
to this as like
Thanks
a
for watching.
podcast
There's
thing?
no one here, just yours and mine.
Does anyone listen to it as like a podcast thing? Someone told me that they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, everyone can. This
So
is just a
someone said-
podcast with your eyes open.
Why don't you put it on like a podcast thing? My answer would be, just load up the YouTube app, hit play, and put your phone down.
Good idea.
Listen to it.
Let's go get lunch. Thanks, everyone.
eat these for lunch. These
And
are
we are going to
amazing.
do a Twisted vs Too Sexy special.
Special
Yeah.
Q&A here
Oh.
on the lounge with this thing.
And there's another episode coming out on the main Mighty Come channel this week in about 2 days' time.
Epic.
Keep your eyeball out for that.
We should probably go and shoot
It's
it.
the end of an era. It's the end of an era. Thanks, everyone. That's the show. And farewell. He knows me
You were
well.
going to do it, but I'm not
Otherwise.
letting you.